Welcome to Get Your Spirit in Shape, United Methodist Communications and UMC.org's podcast to help us keep our souls as healthy as our bodies. I'm Joy Avino. Today we begin our Give Love series, 4 conversations with United Methodist missionaries for the Advent season. We'll release one each week of Advent. And today we begin with Benjamin Lasley. Ben is originally from North Carolina, and today he serves the Arch Street United Methodist Church in downtown Philadelphia as a Global Mission Fellow with the United Methodist General Board of Global Ministries. In this conversation, we talk about his ministry at Arch Street and the differences in moving from North Carolina to Philadelphia. Ben, welcome to Get Your Spirit in Shape.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And thanks for taking the time to talk with me today. You're originally from North Carolina, and now you're serving the Arch Street United Methodist Church in Philadelphia as a Global Mission United Methodist General Board of Global Ministries. Tell me about your ministry at Arch Street.
Yeah, so I'm a Global Mission Fellow US2 with Global Ministries. So in that capacity, I'm here for 2 years as a community organizer and volunteer coordinator with Arch Street. So in that capacity, I helped direct a homeless meal serve. Every Sunday, we feed between 150 to 200 folks. Then during the summer, I also direct a community garden in North Philadelphia where I help out at a community center.
That sounds like an exciting ministry.
Yeah, there's always something to do. It never stops. But I think that's the best part about it.
And how is Philadelphia different than growing up in North Carolina?
I grew up outside of Greensboro, North Carolina, in a small suburb, and now I'm living in North Philadelphia. It's extremely different. You know, I had been to large cities before. I've never lived in one, and I think Philadelphia is a great example of one of these very historic, gritty, passionate cities where so much life is. And it's very different where I don't have a car here. You know, I take transit, I take the bus, I walk through all these skyscrapers and look up where I'd never, I'd only look up at trees or suburban homes before. So it's a huge shift in how I live now.
What led you to go into becoming a Global Mission Fellow?
I attended a United Methodist church virtually my entire life. I went to UNC Chapel Hill and went to the Methodist campus ministry there. And I helped direct their mission trips there while I was a student. I went on a Mercy and Justice trip to DC and visited Church and Society. And I had met a Global Mission Fellow who talked about the program. And I was like, oh, not for me. I will not be doing that. And then my senior year rolled around. I was unsure what to do. I'd graduated a year early. So I still wanted some type of education, some type of a job. So a fellowship. And I had known about this fellowship. I really enjoyed the commitment to social justice and that it had a United Methodist heritage to it because I was also considering the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps as well. So I decided, and here I am.
Do you consider this kind of the first step in a lifelong journey of mission?
I feel like that changes every week. I definitely think I would love to be involved in mission work. And I think especially in this past year as I've been here, particularly social justice. I don't think that's going to lead me to a formal ordained career, but I think I would always like to be involved in a local or regional representation of Methodism.
When you were growing up in your church, was your family a church family? Was that just something that you guys did every week?
Yes, we went to church. I went to youth group Sunday nights. I went to Sunday school. I went to small group on Wednesdays. My mom directed the Wednesday night out. I went on mission trips every spring break, and then I went during the summer. So I had perfect attendance everywhere.
Was there a moment when your faith kind of became more yours than what you were being taught?
It was the summer after my senior year in high school, and I had gone on a backpacking trip. I was in Boy Scouts in high school, and we were backpacking in New Mexico, and it was unparalleled beauty. We didn't see other people for days. We were hiking in the mountains. And it was just this beauty, this creation. And then I'd gone on a mission trip with my youth group to Puerto Rico, and I just saw widespread systemic poverty and environmental racism. Seeing that paradigm of this beauty in New Mexico, and then this environmental racism and man-made destruction of this environment was just revolting. And I think I knew then that I really wanted to do something environmentally focused, which I studied in college, political science and environmental studies.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination. You see them coming together in a career kind of in what direction?
I feel like that also changes every week now with COVID. I was considering grad school, but with everything going on with cost, if it's online, I think I'm just kind of waiting for another sign to point me in a direction.
Mhm.
But hopefully one day to be involved in environmental policy making, urban policy making. I think that's also been a huge shift towards career goals since I've been here in Philadelphia.
How do you see that as an expression of your faith?
I think I've always seen faith as a step within the community. So it's not just something of me sitting down in isolation and reading or praying. I've always struggled with that, having the motivation, finding the spirituality. And where others can, that is amazing. But I think what I've always seen is how to put it in action. So in Philadelphia, I think it has really helped me activate my faith, where I had always learned about religion, I'd always learned about Christianity, but actually doing this fellowship, participating in mission, and participating in a meal serve, participating in a community garden has really helped actualize my faith.
I like that phrase, activate your faith, and kind of getting you to where the service it's not separate, but it's an integral part of your expression of faith. What's the most exciting thing that's happening right now in your ministry?
I actually had an amazing meeting this morning about potentially opening up a farm stand in front of our community center this fall. We had been doing one this summer where I manage 4 communal plots in our garden, and everything I harvest from those plots we give out for free on Thursdays during the summer. Of course, summer is gone and that's ended. And so I haven't been able to do that since there are no grocery stores in my neighborhood. We live in a food apartheid area. And so to be able to hopefully partner again with a local food trust organization to be able to kind of reopen another farm stand in our area, yeah, I'm ecstatic about it. I'm so excited to see where this partnership goes and to bring fresh food to my neighborhood.
And be something that you'd be able to give away or sell cheap to let people?
To partner and give away food bucks. So you would get $4 essentially for free. And then you could use your SNAP benefits, because that's a big thing of a lot of farmers markets are inaccessible because they want cash or checks. And a lot of people who are on food stamps, that's not a reality.
You used a phrase in there that I'm unfamiliar with, so help me understand. I think you said it's a food apartheid area?
So I think we commonly use the phrase like a food desert. Mm-hmm. So there's not a grocery store or a comprehensive outlet for food, not just like canned goods, but produce, fresh fruit, everything that you would find in a grocery store. Food apartheid kind of builds on that and is more intersectional, looking at policy that is made over decades, redlining, looking at grocery stores and that sort of thing, and kind of how racism plays into that as well, of this intentional act that is kind of, I think, as 2020 and the last couple of years have revealed, kind of this weaving in intersectionality into different injustices.
That must be one of the great frustrations of where the ministry that you're in right now is seeing that kind of injustice that's happening.
Yeah, and especially with COVID, with uprising, grocery stores shutting down. So for a period, there's a Dollar General about a block away from me, and that's kind of the only place where you can get food. It's not a grocery store. You can get canned goods, you can get frozen goods. In June, in the wake of all the uprisings, that Dollar General shut down for 3 months. So there was no place besides a corner store. There was no place to get food at all. And to sit here, and while I was having that farm stand during the summer, that helped. But still, being in a community where there is no access is extremely frustrating, especially because I can leave this community. When I go into work in Center City, I can get to the grocery store. But that's not reality for my neighbors.
You said you lead a program that feeds 150 to 200 people regularly. Can you tell me more about that? Has that grown recently, or are people coming more often because of this hardship?
It's called Grace Cafe. It's a community meal serve. We used to have it in the Fellowship of Art Street, and we would also have nurses coming in and a legal clinic.
Wow.
And we would do 150 to 200 every Sunday. With COVID, it's been outside since March, and we're going to continue it. Due to the rising COVID cases, we saw a huge uptick initially. We got up to like 254. Then it kind of settled down, which we believe is due to stimulus checks. There was also an encampment in our city where people were living in tents, and they organized kind of this very resilient community. But now we are seeing our numbers back up as that encampment has been disbanded and colder weather is setting in.
So what are some of the other struggles that you guys have, or what are the challenges and needs of your ministry?
One challenge is resource availability. As we continue this meal serve into the fall, it's safest to be outside due to sizing regulations and being in a church. You can only have 25 in Philadelphia. And so we are forced to continue to have this to-go meal serve outside, which we are doing because it is the safest thing to do. I think this weekend the high is going to be 45, maybe 50. And so as we continue in the winter, we need a way to have a dignified meal serve outside. And I don't know if that's space heaters and creating the space where for a lot of our folks who don't have homes, who are housing insecure, who can't come inside our church as they always did, how can we be this community outside the church and provide them warmth when you go on any website to order a space heater and it's back ordered till March?
Oh, wow. Yeah. You talked about dignified meal service. Say more about that.
Yeah, I think too many times people who are food or housing insecure are discriminated against, are looked down upon. So many people will be standing or sitting in the corner and we'll just walk by them. We won't pay them any mind. And so what we really tried to do at Grace Cafe, before COVID, they would come downstairs to our fellowship hall. They're welcome at any point to come into the church on Sundays. A lot would attend worship, though that's not a requirement. They could sleep in the pews. They could catch up with their community, charge their phones, use the restroom. So they'd come downstairs and we'd have volunteers, probably around 25 to 30, and serve them like it's a restaurant. So we'd have tablecloths set down, flowers in the middle. They'd be served coffee. They'd be on real plates to try and give them a dignified setting that normally society doesn't give them.
That's important, but like you said, that's going to be difficult to do outdoors in the winter and a lot of us, when we do go out, we're picking up food, right? And bringing it back to our home and eating. Do you guys see any solutions that you're thinking about, or what are some of the things you're planning?
We are in the process of ordering tents to kind of create this space while having one wall open for airflow, of course, with COVID. It's raining currently in Philadelphia. I want to make sure none of my community, they have to wait in the rain. Mm-hmm. Or what if it's snowing and it's December? So we're working and trying to find and talking to restaurants, talking to our community members, and hoping to see if anybody has any fresh ideas.
That's great. So it's kind of you're kind of crowdsourcing it a little bit, right? Trying to figure this out.
So, that's what we have to do. We have to lean on our community when times get tough.
Absolutely. And it's good that you can kind of ask those questions and see what answers that you get. How are you seeing the people at Arch Street kind of get involved? How is this part of their church experience?
Grace Cafe has been around for 10 years. And so we have a lot of volunteers who have been here for the 10 years and some who it's their first time. So we have church members coming in. We cook all of our meals. So in addition to handing out the meals, I also help direct the food service. So one of my favorite people in the church usually helps out almost every Sunday. And we are downstairs, putting 80 pounds of chicken on a tray. And that's mission. That's part of what our church does. And so some come help cook with us. Some help hand out the meals. A lot of our folks might not feel comfortable volunteering in person with rising COVID cases, and they might be in a group that's more susceptible. So they'll bring in like, hey, I have some men's pants. Can you use them? And donating supplies. So we have a bunch of different ways that our congregant members are all banding together to participate.
It's just an amazing ministry just to hear that those wonderful things are happening and the ways in which you guys are reaching out to the community. I just love hearing the story. How do you keep your spirit in shape?
The big shift when I moved from North Carolina to Philadelphia is I don't have a car anymore. I love to go hiking. I love backpacking. And so the first couple months here was a huge struggle. What I found, though, is that moving to Philadelphia, it's great for biking. So one thing that I've done is usually at least once a week, sometimes I don't want to, but I have to force myself to get out of the house and go biking. So last weekend I biked down to the Navy Yard, which is a huge naval station in Philadelphia. It's about a 15-mile bike ride round trip. But it's just good to get out and kind of see different environments. And that's what I've had to do, whether that's and listening to the past the last podcast with Reverend Phillips when she was talking about feeling and seeing and sensing. Nature is in a city. It's not just if it's a park in a city. The environment is everywhere, whether it's the birds everywhere, the wind. I think Reverend Phillips talked about that. And so it's getting out, seeing the different environments. She talked about a sense of touch. I think the smell is so interesting, like smelling the leaves. I feel like I have this sense of being able to smell rain when it comes. And so biking through mist is terrible to bike because it's pelting you, but it's not even that it feels soothing, but it smells soothing. It's like this washing of you that I find so refreshing.
Yeah, and you find kind of spiritual renewal in those kind of activities?
It's a good way to exercise, to get out all these complicated emotions we're all having during COVID, and being able to healthfully process that and get out to see new spaces.
Well, Ben, I really appreciate the time that you've given us today to learn about your ministry and about you and the wonderful work that you and Arch Street United Methodist Church are doing. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
That was Ben Lasley, a global mission fellow from North Carolina who is serving the Arch Street United Methodist Church in downtown Philadelphia through the United Methodist General Board of Global Ministries. To learn more about the General Board of Global Ministries' Give Love campaign and to make a donation to support their ministry and work, go to umc.org/podcasts and look for the notes page of this episode. We've put links on the page to help you make that donation and to learn more. Thanks for listening. I hope you're having a blessed Advent. And I'll be back next week with another conversation with a missionary that will help us keep our souls as healthy as our bodies. I'm Joy Avino. Peace.